Grown with weeds, forgotten until now.
That all changed when one man's quest to learn about his past collided with our county's history. Here's Courtney Garish.
Mike, it's a graveyard for thousands in the heart of Milwaukee County. Most people don't even know it's there. These long-lost souls with nothing to mark their graves. Tonight, we look at the effort to unearth their stories.
Every person buried out here has a story.
Some 7,000 stories, still mostly untold. These unknown dead buried with their mysteries.
It's important that they have their place in history.
A Milwaukee County graveyard for the poor, mentally ill and orphaned, in most cases with nothing marking their final resting place.
Would you say this is a dark spot in Milwaukee's history?
I think it was, yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was a dumping place.
James Lombardo still visits Potter's Field. He believes divine intervention first led him here in 1976.
I really think that brought me here for a reason.
In the search for his biological mother, Lombardo was picking up adoption papers on the Milwaukee County grounds when he stumbled across this.
The grass was this high. The first time I ever saw this.
A forgotten cemetery in Wauwatosa, between Watertown Plank Road and the Menominee River. 4,000 adults and children buried here. Some of them lived in the orphanage, where Lombardo spent the first 3 years of his life.
It was like a sacred ground to me, you know.
As a supervisor for Milwaukee County, Lombardo made it his mission to turn Potter's Field into something beautiful.
Why not have the same respect for this cemetery as you would have for any other?
From 1852 to 1974, Milwaukee County buried the mentally insane, the poor, and the unknown at little cost. They were laid to rest in 3 plots of land and forgotten. Some estimate there are 7,500 people in unmarked graves. The only record, this burial log, now at the Milwaukee County Historical Society. In 1991, one of these lost pauper cemeteries made headlines. It was discovered during construction at Frederick Hospital. Crews turned up the bones of 1,600 people.
You can see there's a lot of wear.
Those remains now being studied by archaeology students at UW-Milwaukee. But the bigger goal here, to identify as many as possible. So far, they've had success with 190 people, like Ernst Gutschke. He was an inmate at the County Insane Asylum.
This is a copy of actually his autopsy.
Brooke Drew is working on her PhD. She spends countless hours pulling coroner's reports. In this case, the trauma that killed Gutschke helped identify his remains.
To me, the personal story about what he was doing when he died, it adds a very kind of personal, humanizing aspect to my research.
Dr. Michael McBride, a psychiatrist at Milwaukee's VA Medical Center, walks us through a small plot of land just up from Potter's Field.
This would have sat right like that.
Cast iron crosses used to mark these 200 graves, all former patients at the County Insane Asylum.
I got interested in who these people were and what they died of.
This graveyard has a cemetery marker, but up until 5 years ago was a dumping ground for garbage.
The common denominator for all the people buried out here is that they were poor. And that's essentially why we have these cycles of cemeteries that are forgotten.
Now, Dr. McBride wants the county to spend some money and turn this into a park setting.
As a community, remember these people in a dignified way. That I feel is the right thing to do.
So he was buried here in 1884.
For Lombardo, he finds solace in knowing several families have found loved ones in this Potter's Field, but wishes he could do more for the many others who are still forgotten. And there have been at least 2 Civil War veterans found in these pauper cemeteries. Another reason some people want more done to memorialize the lives of those buried in these plots.
So many stories.
Fascinating.
What happens to the remains that are being studied at UWM?
Well, that whole collection stays with the university. Each person is individually preserved and remembered. And if family actually comes forward, those remains are then going to be handed over to relatives.
Yeah, good idea.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, Courtney, thank you very much.
And now here's a